one more night of wild card football, and then we move on to the teams that know how to play playoff football. Good afternoon, Evan. How are you today?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Listen, we got Knicks basketball going on now. We got the Brooklyn Nets coming on in a little bit less than an hour. We are doing our entire show today, and just before 3 o'clock when the Brooklyn Net pregame show begins with Carino and Capper and the crew, we will just continue doing our show exclusively on the AM dial the way it all started 35 years ago. We will be on 660 exclusively, and then if time permits after the net game, I guess in theory we'll be back on the FM as well. But for now, you got us on both signals, and it's funny. You know, I love the fact that the NFL added an extra team in the playoffs. I love it. Because for me, the more teams that get into the playoffs, the more likely my team is eligible later in the season to maybe make a little playoff run.
How's that worked out so far?
Yeah, you saw over the weekend why the added playoff team, you know, it doesn't add for any type of suspenseful type football. But listen, the more playoff football, the better. And for those of you out there, and I recognize that this is a giant and jet town, but much like most major metropolitans, there's a good enough number of front-running Weasley Cowboy fans who like to wear their cowboy gear all fall and winter and talk about how about them Cowboys, and talk about Big D and Dak Prescott and this, that, and the other thing. Ha! 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 Oh, was that fun yesterday. Of all the games I watched, because I watched every minute of every game like you did, the only game that brought me great joy, well, I guess two of them did in theory. At least on paper they should have, but I'm not going to lie to you. It didn't. Is watching the Dallas Cowboys lose in the manner they lost. Self-inflicted wounds, penalty after penalty, and then a chance maybe to come down and do the unthinkable, win the game late. And again, self-inflicted wounds. And memo to you Cowboy fans who want to yell and scream at the referee for getting in the way of Dak Prescott trying to spike the ball with no time on the clock. You guys act like they were about to kick a 9-yard field goal. They still would have had to call a play, get in the end zone, and score a touchdown.
Well, that's why the whole thing was stupid.
Yeah.
The decision to call a quarterback sneak or a quarterback draw with 16 seconds to go and no timeouts from the 40 was dumb.
It was like Joe Judge's quarterback sneak dumb.
I mean, look, you knew best case scenario, you get one shot in the end zone.
From about the 30.
From the 25, wherever, one shot.
That's it.
If you decide not to call that brain dead play, you get multiple shots from the 40-yard line to throw a Hail Mary into the end zone against a defense that's been called for plenty of penalties in its secondary throughout the year. You have a better shot to win the game.
Not just that, Evan. They were trading 10 yards for 3 seconds. That's what they did prior to that quarterback draw.
And that was fun because they were getting out of bounds.
Yeah. So in theory, if you do that a couple more times, you're at least going to have that one crack at the end
Niners
zone.
finally made the adjustment defensively where they were guarding the sidelines, which they weren't doing on the first few plays. So I don't even think that would have worked. The bottom line was this. Despite all the self-inflicted bonehead penalties Dallas had committed throughout the day, despite the fact that Jimmy Garoppolo could have won this game an hour earlier if he makes an accurate pass, boy, that sounds like the Super Bowl, the Cowboys still were in position to take a couple of shots in the end zone.
And by the way, if the right tackle's not set, they win the game anyway because they went for it originally on 4th and 1. And after the game, they acknowledged the only reason the right tackle wasn't set is that Garoppolo snapped the ball too quick.
Right.
So in any event, listen, they win. And for those of us that sit here as Giant and Jet fans that have not had any joy whatsoever in over 5 years or 10 years, whatever the number is, watching the Dallas Cowboys implode last night or yesterday afternoon was like a playoff win for me.
Well, also, I have to correct you about something, and I think you're going to agree with me. You're going to say, Evan, I didn't look at it that way.
Hey, man.
You called Cowboy fans front runners.
Front-running weasels.
From the mid-'90s, you are right. But let me ask you a trivia question.
All right.
Since 2011.
Yeah.
Who's won more playoff games, the New York Giants or the Dallas Cowboys?
The New York Giants.
Okay.
Yep.
Since 2009, who's won more playoff games, the New York Jets or the Dallas Cowboys?
The New York Jets.
Since 1998, the number of AFC championship games the Jets have been in equals the amount of Cowboy playoff wins.
Yes.
So here's my point.
Yeah.
While the Cowboys have had success over the years, and they've won 11 games, 12 games, and they've won divisions, and they've been to the postseason, what we saw yesterday, more times than not happens, they lose.
Yeah, I love it.
They
great.
lose in brutal fashion, and we all saw this coming because, and I take the loss on Mike McCarthy. I raised my hand. I wanted him to coach the Jets. I was wrong. But all year long, you knew this season's going to end with Mike McCarthy doing something stupid.
Yeah. And by the way, that's not even why they lost the game, but still, it was still good to see them doing something
part of the
stupid.
reason? Look,
I don't think so.
Look,
I mean,
okay, I'll give you another one.
Here's why.
Yes.
It's not as if they get the ball spiked with a second left, that it equates to they're going to win.
Correct. I'm not talking about that play.
Right,
Here's why Mike McCarthy blew it for them. They were an undisciplined mess. Who does that fall on?
The players.
The head coach.
Well, I put that on the players.
That's a coach. Okay, I'll give you one that could be on the coach. All right. Ezekiel Elliott admits after the game he played the remainder of the season with a sprained PCL, right? He said that. Why was Tony Pollard barely involved in the offense then?
He wasn't involved at all.
Why?
That's coaching. That'll give you on coaching.
I got you one.
I will not do the other one, though. I disagree with you vehemently on
That's
the other
fine,
one.
and I respect that. I'll give you another one.
Go.
So they execute the fake punt. Brilliant.
That was
awesome.
a very good fake.
What are they doing on the next play?
Yeah, they were going to leave the punt unit on the field for another play, a consecutive play.
What was that for?
I don't know.
Now, Tony Romo.
That I don't know.
Tony Romo sounded like the Russian media for a second. He's like, you know why they're doing this? Let me explain it to all you morons. They want to steal a timeout from the Niners. Really? Why? Can you explain that one to me?
Yeah.
Why are they trying to steal a timeout from the from the San Francisco 49ers? Every second matters. You're not fooling anybody. It costs you because you get called for a delay of game. You're lucky Zerline made the 51-yard field goal. What's that on? Is that on coaching, Craig?
That's probably on the referees like they're blaming all day today. Okay. I mean, listen, the refs did not have a great weekend in total, but the referees are not why the Dallas Cowboys lost. And here's why. There did come a point in that game where I said what I think what a lot of people said. Come on. Another penalty against Dallas. There's just no way. And then they would show the replay of it, and you'd say, yeah.
Every time.
His hand was on the guy's face.
Right.
Yeah. He was offsides. Yeah. It was whatever the case may be.
Right.
Because there was a point, literally, where that game became so choppy because every play got stopped with another yellow flag. It was very hard to watch, actually, where I did say to myself, there's just no way. And then there was a way. And then, of course, that brings me, of course, to a Saturday night. And I'm not going to lie to you. I was dead wrong on this game. Had it wrong. Did not get the joy a lot of you got. But watching the Buffalo Bills with 7 possessions score 7 touchdowns, watching the New England Patriots get bitch slapped all over the field in Orchard Park, New York, for those of you that thought, and I'm not saying you did, that in some weird way, shape, or form, because Belichick had this great regular season with a rookie quarterback, that the dynasty was not yet dead. Oh, it's dead. Oh, it's dead. The days of Patriot dominance are now deader than a doornail.
Craig, did they take their soul?
I don't like that comment.
Why?
I don't know.
I told you on Friday the Buffalo Bills will take their soul. Was that an accurate description of what you watched Saturday night?
I've never seen a blowout like that.
Okay.
I've been watching football 50 years.
So then give your partner some credit. Go ahead.
It's not about so much giving you credit.
Well, I give you credit every time you get something right.
And you like to point out my mistakes.
No. I give you credit plenty of times.
Remember when you put out that video of when back in November when I had something wrong?
Well, that was wrong.
Yeah.
All I want is accountability. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. The Buffalo Bills are a far superior team. But I had visions of this for days. And it was as good and as pleasurable as I visioned it to be.
I think it's the only, listen, almost every game was a blowout this weekend.
But that was enjoyable.
But I think, it was the only blowout that I think people liked watching because of the long-standing Belichick dominance. To watch him with the hoodie on and the face mask pulled up over his nose and his son sitting next to him all bundled up and McDaniels not knowing what play to call. Oh, no. Oh, no, we can't match him. I should have gotten more joy out of it. I didn't.
You didn't take any negativity out of the fact that the Jets passed on Josh Allen. Like, is that something that registers in your brain?
No,
because I admit it doesn't really bother me because as a fan sitting here, I never wanted Josh Allen. Like, I wasn't screaming and beating on the table, you got to get me Josh Allen. And I wonder if he's brought to the New York Jets with Todd Bowles and then Adam Gase, if he even develops into the monster he's become.
I don't know. Listen, we could play that game all day about guys who turned out to be great players that we didn't covet at the time. We could have drafted them and look back on what is a clear draft mistake based on a guy's future success. But I did not feel that way at all. It's interesting because I wanted in the worst way to get joy out of that blowout. And it was just so much of a blowout, I really couldn't.
What? You didn't get joy out of the Buffalo Bills late in that game running up the score Belichick style?
I liked seeing Belichick on the sideline miserable. I did get joy out of that.
Yes.
I can't deny it.
I don't like the Buffalo Bills. I don't like the Buffalo Bill fans. The Bills are in the Jet division, so next week, go Chiefs. But for one night, for one shining moment, I felt you, Bills Mafia. I enjoyed every second of watching Bill Belichick and the Patriots get absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be cold. This is exactly what Bill wants. Give me a freaking break.
I enjoyed the Cowboys losing more than I enjoyed the Patriots losing. I don't know. I'm twisted, I guess.
Why is that?
Because
one thing
I can't lie to you about it. I'd love to come in here today going, ha, 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 ha. But on Friday, I told you the truth. No, I thought the Patriots were going to win that game.
No, I know you did, but and I understand Giant fans that despise the Dallas Cowboys. But for me, I grew up and in high school, everybody was a Cowboy fan. Middle school, everybody was a Cowboy fan. But they've been harmless for the last 20 plus years. Every year is the same story. They get talked up. They've got all this talent. This is the year. And then they flame out with some kind of brutal postseason loss.
Now, are you happy there's a game tonight, or you kind of wish we were done with round one?
No, I admit, I'm glad there's a game tonight.
Yeah, me too. Looking forward to it.
3 in a row is a lot. By the time I got to Sunday night, the Pittsburgh-Kansas City game, which was entertaining for about a quarter and a half, even though none of us thought the Steelers were going to win.
You know what? That last first half touchdown ended it. Had they gone into halftime, even at 14-7, you can at least say to yourself, all right, 14-7, it's a game. It's a one-possession game. When they got that late second-half touchdown to go up by 14, to me, that ended the game.
You know what? Even if the Chiefs were down 14-7, I wouldn't have been worried. The Chiefs have made such a science of these comebacks in the postseason. But by the time I got to Sunday night, I was done. I was tired. I watched 7 straight...
tired of what? Watching TV?
7 straight hours of football. I was ready for a break.
Who gets tired of watching TV?
Me.
I don't.
7 straight hours, I was done. Like, Saturday was perfect. 4:30 game, 8 o'clock game. I got to watch Bruce Brown falling into Kevin Durant's knee, but it was a good amount of time. 3 straight's too much for me. So for that reason, I'm glad we got a game tonight.
Well, we do have a game tonight. We'll get into your thoughts on the playoff weekend. Lots of blowouts, but at least 2 of those blowouts seem to make a lot of people happy. The Bills throwing the Patriots into the Wolves, and of course, the Dallas Cowboys yesterday against the San Francisco 49ers. And say what you want about Jimmy Garoppolo. We've said it about Alex Smith to a lesser extent, and far lesser extent. We said it about Mark Sanchez. All these guys do is win, and nobody appreciates them.
Because he's not that good, dude.
All they do is win.
He almost cost them the game, just like he cost them the Super Bowl. I don't want Jimmy Garoppolo on my team. Do you?
All the guy does is win.
I
like surrounding myself with winners.
Hold on a second. That's BS.
How's that BS? Tell me when he hasn't won.
Okay, so in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago in Green Bay, or at home against Green Bay, how'd they win that game?
They ran the ball.
Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo had how many pass attempts in that game?
Not many.
8.
Yeah.
That's the number. 6 for 8.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Their defense,
pretty
which
good
got
percentage, isn't it?
Their defense, which
That's
got
like 80% completion percentage.
Stop. Their defense got to Dak Prescott. They were able to run the football.
Well, it's funny you say that.
Jimmy
How come Giant
Garoppolo,
fans don't say that about Eli Manning on their way to the first Super Bowl?
Because Eli Manning's better than Jimmy Garoppolo. That's why.
He is Jimmy Garoppolo.
Eli Manning made the throw to David Tyree. Jimmy Garoppolo did not 2 years ago when the Niners could have won a championship.
I'll take
Just
a
like
winner.
he didn't to Brandon Ayuk yesterday.
I'll take
Jimmy Garoppolo stinks.
Nope. I'll take winners
if
over losers
Kyle
any day.
Shanahan had any guts, he'd bench him for Trey Lance going into next week.
Because you want a playoff game on the road against a better team.
Good.
Interesting. See, you just fulfilled my prophecy there.
What's that?
The guy wins and wins and wins, and people like you have no respect for him.
I don't think he's any good.
It fascinates me.
I don't think he's any good.
Wow.
I'm calling it like it is.
Guy took the I mean, it's
All
fascinating.
right, I'll call you out on it, Craig.
Call me out on
Do you
whatever you
think the
want.
New York Giants should acquire Jimmy Garoppolo
Yes.
during the offseason?
Better than what you got.
I knew you were going to say that.
100%.
You didn't answer it correctly.
That's what we call an upgrade. Yeah, let me upgrade you. We'll get your calls.